Since the dawn of time, man has cared about two things, just two: underdogs
Is this the dagger?
and playoff risers.
With an offensive rebound. Another chance here. DiVincenzo. He's got it.
And what better way to take advantage of such things than to put playoff risers on tier lists from help you win a chip to not help you win a chip, or in this case, above and beyond, to momentum losers. So, stick with the concept, get ready, boom! We're back from that catastrophe. I'll tell you, it was a crazy one. Our honorable mention before we start the actual list is the Phoenix Suns. Not going to name their players like I am for everyone else. I'll tell you, they're BUNS. They are going to be in momentum losers, the end of momentum losers. This team is talentless. I have a challenge for you guys in the comments. Name someone in the Phoenix Suns that's not in the starting five. Now, to start off, we're doing play-in teams first. So, any teams within the 7th to 10th seed as of 4/9/2025. So, this video will be dated, sadly. I hate dating videos, but this one's going to have to be dated. We're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Atlanta Hawks are kind of a difficult team. They're 4th in team bench points, but I think it's kind of skewered because they've lost Clint Capella, who is big, and now the points are kind of off. Karis LeVert brings in a lot of the bench points, so that's probably why they're 4th. But they have Karis, Terrence Mann, Vit, and Georges Niang as the 4 I have as the bench pieces. Now, these players are all pretty decent. I can't lie, I don't know much about Vit, but the other 3 I do know about. They bring a lot to the table. So in terms of benches, I'm gonna give this the potential tier. This bench has the potential to go off. Karis LeVert can drop 40 any given night. We've seen it a couple times now in this league, so that's what I'm gonna give that one. We got our second team in this is the Dallas Mavericks, with Najee Marshall, Max Christie, Jaden Hardy, and Daniel Gafford. Now, I think Hardy will be back for the playoffs, so that'll be big. This is an odd group. This is a more defensive group, so I have them kind of lower. This is a very defensive group. They're 11th in bench points, but they've had a lot of trades done, a lot of injuries now throughout the year, so stats are kind of skewed. Don't take the bench point stat too seriously. I'm just letting you know where they rank amongst all 32 NBA teams. This is a team that's more of a defensive bench. Now, Najee Marshall brings great defense. Jaden Hardy brings great defense. Gafford brings mid defense, mid scoring. He's the in-between. Max Christie, though, is their big bench piece scorer. Now, will Max Christie go off every game? I do not think so. He has been plagued by inconsistency this season, but seems like he has a high ceiling. So I think that's a big part of this is Max Christie's ceiling. I think it should be good. I'm going to have them under the limit losses. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, but they could take the first game of the play-in if they play their cards right. Now, for the number 3 team, the Orlando Magic. Play the song. But the Orlando Magic, I have them on limit losses. I must say that one straight off bat, because Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac, Caleb Houston, Gary Harris. This is a very defensive 4 that I'd say they're not all bucket getters, and I think that's an issue here. You're going to have teams that are just going to outpace you. The Magic, I don't even really see making it out of the first round. Maybe not even the play-in if they get unlucky, but if they do make it out the first round, please beat the Cavs. I just want to see the Cavs lose. So we'll put them on limit losses. The next team is the Chicago Bulls. Shout out King of the Fourth Quarter, Chicago Bulls. This bench is kind of odd, you know. Zach Collins, THT, Trey Jones, and Patrick Williams. Now, there are a kind of actually scoring offense. THT scores more than you'd ever think. Zach Collins actually gets buckets. And Trey Jones is a playmaker / scorer. And Patrick Williams on days can score. Now, they are only at the limit losses tier because they're all plagued by inconsistency. I think that's kind of a virtue of these lower teams. They're just not going to be the best teams they can be. So, unfortunately, we can't give them the best ranking we can give them. You know, you look at the stats, you see, if they had Io, maybe this would be a different story. Unfortunately, Io got injured. You look at the stats, they're only 14th, but throughout the season, they've traded Zach Levine, Kevin Herter, Zach Collins. I mean, not Zach Collins, sorry. Torrey Craig. They've lost and gained bench pieces, but I'm not really sure on this Bulls team. Can't say myself I watch too much Bulls ball, but I know who these guys are. Pretty good names. So we'll have to see. I have them on limit losses. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Also here, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies, Salty Aldama, Luke Kennard, G.G. Jackson, and Scottie Pippen Jr. Now this unit actually ranks 1 in bench points, but I believe that was because of before the coach firing, rotation management. So I'd have to say this is a pretty good bench unit. On to the playoff teams that are for sure going to be the 1 through 6 seeds. For sure not going to have to play in the play-in. It'll be nice for them. First on that list, the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets rank in number 24 in bench scoring. Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Steven Adams, and what seems like Aaron Holiday now replacing Cam Whitehorse. I don't know how to feel about that Aaron Holiday, but if he's working in the system, he's working. I think this is a bench that can score a good amount of buckets, that can help you propel you win in playoff games. If I had to give this one a ranking, I'd call it bench spark. I think this team can score. Next up, we have the Warriors. The Warriors have Kuminga, Quentin Post, Buddy Hield, and GP2. Now, is this a bench that looks great on paper? No, it does not at all, and I can admit that completely. But I think Jonathan Kuminga is a bucket getter. He's one of the best bench players we have here outside of Naz Reid. Quentin Post, I'm not familiar with his game. Buddy Hield, he was a splash buddy. And Gary Payton, great at defense. Not as great at getting buckets. I have them as bench spark. If Buddy Hield makes 4 threes off the bench, you are screwed. That is just the lead, motivation, everything deteriorated. Kuminga can also get buckets off the bench. I think that's a great quality to have in a player like Kuminga. You need him to get buckets off the bench. With that being said, we have them in bench spark. Next, we have the Lakers. Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jordan Goodwin. All these players are known for 3 and D, except for Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent's more of just a 3 player, and he's inconsistent at that. When the stars aren't on the court, this team will struggle, and they have this whole season. This team ranks 27th in bench points, and this is through different bench players. This is through having D'Angelo Russell, so that's just not a good place to be at all. So Lakers are disappointing on the bench end of things. They rank momentum losers. That's what I'll say on that, momentum losers. Next up, the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are a strange team. Great starting firepower, great all of that, but they have a bench player who kind of plays like a starter, plays the same minutes as a starter in Bogdan Bogdanovic. It's Bogdanovic, Batum, Simmons, and Amir Kofi. This bench has a lot of potential, actually. Amir and Bogey are both great at the 3, so is Batum. And Ben Simmons can work the inside. Ben Simmons basically covers everything else on this bench. Defense, rebounding, all that. This team lacks kind of big men that play big, so signing Ben was good for them in the middle of the season. Ben's relatively new to the Clippers system, but he's adjusting just fine. They're actually going to be just on limit losses because it's an alright bench. But Bogey can't produce spark. We'll have to see. I don't think it's as much potential as some of the other ones we have there. So we're going to leave them in limit losses. The Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets famously have a statistic that when Jokic is out of the game, they are screwed. They are screwed. They don't bring anything to the table. We just saw Russell Westbrook choke a game the other night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Peyton Watson, Jalen Pickett, and Zeke Naji are all okay players. I'm not even sure if that will be the definite bench now that Mike Malone's gone. I'm not sure who will for sure get starts, but if it's Russ, Peyton Watson, Pickett, and Zeke Naji, this offense cannot score, and Jokic will have to play every single minute of the game. That's an issue. So we'll have to see how this ends for the Nuggets. I assume poorly. That's what happens when you fire your coach so late into the season, but I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping maybe Jokic can get another one if my Knicks can't, but it is what it is. For the Pistons, we have Malik Beasley, Isaiah Stewart, Dennis Schroeder, and Simone Fontecchio. fortissimo. But this bench has a 6th man of the year candidate in Malik Beasley, could likely win it, to be honest. The Pistons have been great off the bench. Isaiah Stewart is the dog of the team. He is the role. He will kick ass for you. We saw him try to beat up Dante DiVincenzo. And Dennis Schroeder, that's my German brother. That's just how it works. You know, this team has a great bench unit, and they show it night to night. It is a good unit, but I think I'm just going to have it in the potential spot because I don't think this bench is game swinging. Actually, let's move them up to bench spark. This bench definitely does create a spark. It ignites the team. It fires them up. So I think this is a good place for them to be. Next, we have the Celtics. Kind of an odd spot because they have Peyton Pritchard, who is also a front runner for 6th man of the year. It's Hauser, Cornette, Pritchard, Horford. Originally, I had them in limit losses, but I bumped them up a spot because this team can let threes fly. And obviously, we know that is Missoula Ball, letting threes fly. That is what they do. So that's exactly what the game plan is. If all these guys have an off night, it's going to be a rough day. If all of them play on to par, this team's going to shoot well. This team's going to do everything well. That's exactly why we have them in the potential spot. Because if you get Pritchard making threes and you get Hauser making threes, and even Horford, if he splashes a couple of threes, teams feel defeated off the first minutes of the game. I sure as hell know that feeling. As a Knicks fan watching us play against the Celtics, you feel defeated when their backups are making shots. So put them in potential for sure. For the New York Knicks, I have them with Campaign, Miles McBride, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa. I obviously am going to give this team the most talking time since it's my own. Campaign has looked pretty good, but the problem with our guard rotation is we have Tyler Kolek, Campaign, DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet. Why do we have Landry Shamet on my basketball team? Get him out of here. We needed another big man. Precious kind of feels that role. Precious was huge in the playoffs last year. We might even see Josh Hart come off the bench. This is a whole different story if Josh Hart comes off the bench. Miles McBride has been injured for the later half of the season, so bench stats are a bit wishy-washy. We all know as it is, Tibbs barely runs an 8-man rotation, more of a 7-man rotation come playoffs. So you'll only be really seeing Mitch and Miles, I think. Maybe some Cam and his ugly ass jumper, but that's just what it is. I hope to see this bench prove something to people in this playoff run. If it doesn't, Tibbs might be fired. I'm not a fan of it, but that seems to be the talk. Tibbs will be fired if this team doesn't make at least half decent playoff run, which sucks, but it's what happens. We just saw it happen to a whole bunch of other teams. We can't avoid it. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome, who's also front running 6th man of the year. DeAndre Hunter, another person up for 6th man of the year. Dean Wade and Sam Merrill. Back half doesn't look so great. Dean Wade's an okay player. Sam Merrill's an okay player. But Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter, these are players, especially in an 8-man rotation, that are going to just be huge. They're going to come in, they're going to feel like you didn't replace your forwards or your point guard, even in Darius Garland. I mean, Ty Jerome has stepped it up incredibly as of recently, and that's why he probably will win this award, to be honest. So, especially with the first seed. So, Ty Jerome, way to do it. Cavs, simple enough, above and beyond. The Oklahoma City Thunder, or the Oklahoma City Free Throws, should we call them. Caruso, Kason Wallace, Duke Dennis, and Aaron Wiggins. Now, do I think this is a unit that is going to be playoff ready? No. They weren't last year. I don't think they are going to be today. Kason Wallace is actually in some 6th man of the year conversations. He is a good player, but this unit, I don't think stands a chance in playoffs. I really hope they prove me wrong, but this unit brings almost no talent to the table come playoffs. I think we will see the Thunder struggle come the second round if Shai doesn't get the amount of free throws he needs. We saw it against the Lakers. Shai talked about recently getting back against the Lakers without Luka. You don't let them run back on your hood? Yeah, buddy. Okay, we'll have to see it. But if obviously the Lakers don't make it out the first round, then the Thunder should breeze past to make the finals, and I think that's when they'll run into depth issues, but for now it looks good. So while recording this, I guess I missed a couple, so let's do the Timberwolves with Dante, Naz Reid, Jalen Clark, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I would have them in the above and beyond tier. And then for the Milwaukee Bucks, I will have Bobby Portis, KPJ, AJ Green, Gary Trent Jr. We're going to put them in the potential tier. our final team of the day, the Indiana Pacers. Now, I have Obi Toppin, Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell, and Ben Shepherd. Ben should be back for playoff, but this unit's a lot better than you'd think. For realsies, this unit's a lot better than you'd think. Obi Toppin is definitely a spark plug. He's definitely a guy that, you know, the whole team goes crazy if he breaks away on a fast break and yams it down. That's why he was in the dunk contest with the Knicks. That's why he was in the dunk contest. But Benedict Mathurin himself is a bucket getter. This team should be a problem in the playoffs. A lot of people have been sleeping on them, but as of recently, they've been blowing up like a bomb. No Yay West, but that's just what it is. I wouldn't sag off on any of these guys, and they're definitely not going to sag off on you. TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, and Obi Toppin are all hustle players. That's something you need on the bench. Don't be surprised if you see the Pacers win the first round and maybe another second round upset like last season. That's all of them. This is the full list. Boom, right in front of your face. Comment down below if you think I'm dumb. Comment down below, say, oh, how do you not know Quentin Post is game? Quentin Post is so good. Well, Quentin Post this.